Hello, hello, hello. So we have all this wonderful news and days. Why do I say that? Is it just to fill in time? No. Sometimes it is, you're like, why did I say that? Sometimes you just need to be able to listen to your spirit, get in line. Get in line with the fact that you are intuition in form. I am Brenda Jean Power, and I'm from Medicine Woman Solution. There is always a solution from your soul. And what I was going to talk about all of a sudden just left my head. So I must be midstreaming of energies. And I don't even remember what my topic is today. Anybody remember what I wrote? Sometimes we sabotage yourself in such a way that, because we have an archetype that we have 4 that are connected to that survival mindset. And when we don't understand what the survival mindset is, nor that there is one, isn't this just me? But there is a difference between your mindsets. And it's not that, oh, you just have to have a good state of mind. No, it's time to upgrade the simple fact that we have a tendency towards forgetting how to evolve, and we lean more towards what is survival. We always have. But we have domesticated ourselves so much because we're not running from lions and tigers and bear, oh my, but we are running from what is our daily things that happen in our life, our stresses, but we don't know how to stop these. Now, you've heard all kinds of different opinions, theories, but if you haven't really taken care of that part of yourself that travels and follows fear, then when you hear something that you do not have enough information of, okay, we always seems to have not enough information. So what is the first thing we do? We got to protect ourselves. We don't know what's going to be around that next corner. So then we believe in almost everything we hear. Now, let's say you've been with your partner for 5 years and you're like, yeah, bullshit. I cry bullshit. Not going to hear that anymore. What about a stranger? What about an enemy? What about the unknown? What if they're right? What if they're right? You're made of energy. And what's important to understand is that when your energies are running a certain way, all because of your thinking, your feeling, your going, the particular part of how our evolution stopped, we kind of went to a standstill. We got to start that back up again. And what does all this mean? What is she going at? Where's she going? This energy that stops here, it comes up from the perineum area, comes up the back and comes up here. And that is called the governing meridian. Now, this isn't new. I am standing on the shoulders of giants, okay? These shoulders are huge because these people came before me, shared that information to the point where when all of a sudden thoughts and feelings and teachings all went into another direction. And it's great because we got new knowledge, but the old information was very important too. So what do we do? How do we do this? How do we integrate? Did you hear the key word? Well, we chose either or. How do we integrate? And lots of times in my life, I felt a prisoner of always feeling like it has to be a servitude. And this is a certain mentalities that you put with certain type of beliefs. There is no higher honor than to serve, but it's not about serving man's opinion in his way, her way, the human way. It's in a spiritual human way, which is completely different. Because when you did servitude in the eyes of, I have to do it or else I'll die, then you create karma. Or you have to be the prisoner and be owned by somebody. That creates karma for both sides. But how do you break those prisons? You know, the bars that they're not there. Tools, lots of tools, lots of awakening, a lot of tracking. a lot of spiritual investigation, but the tools. But how about your own conspiracies? Okay. I'm a woman. I'm a little overweight according to society. So I got a little pudge here, Dunlap there. I'm getting older, so the jowls, the lymphatics are not moving, even if I'm exercising. So people think, oh, this is a lot of fat. Well, right here is a lot of lymphatics. I learned this when my mother got cancer. So there's a lot of lymphatics. And so I did some research and found out that you can do certain type of massaging that can drain the lymphatics so that you'll start to lose these jowls. This here is how you also remove your tongue. So if you stick your tongue out, this lifts up, you know. So it's about how your muscles, everything, how it works together. But my husband, we don't see flaws unless you create a conspiracy, an intolerance tube, an implant of your own design. Conspiracies, your own conspiracies. So I could easily not know which mindset I'm in if I chose not to be mindful of it. I am a spiritual human. And when you start to find that authenticity, it becomes easier and faster to tell when you've gone down the wrong timeline, the false timeline, the one I just created out of my fear. Do you have to believe everything that we tell ourselves? No. Do we have to think, oh my God, feel to be attacked by these voices? No. When this meridian starts to go backwards or becomes less, you'll start to become paranoid. Not somebody's out to come and get me. No, paranoid. Well, what if he doesn't love me? Okay. So here I am. I'm not all that beautiful according to the definition of society, but to him, I may be gorgeous. But what about when these energies, and this one's a central one, and this thing was down, you feel very vulnerable. So what if our hormones are out of balance? You can easily go, oh, he doesn't love me anymore. Oh my God, when's the last time we did this? We did that. Oh my God, he don't even talk to me. Oh, it's because I've got this. What are we doing? When these energies go out of the whack, okay, so what we have here is what's called an axis, an HPP axis. And this energy, the hypothalamus, pituitary, and pineal, works as, when it works balanced, you won't have to create these conspiracies. Your hormones won't be off. Your body won't be telling you. The messenger, which is the body, and it's telling you. But if we don't know how to read this stuff, we're going to create some false meanings and false realities. So energy is what we are. And when we start to understand that 4% of matter, which is the atoms that create this form, what about the other 96%? Your consciousness. Aren't you in charge of that? Well, if you don't understand which state of mind you're in, and you don't know which love or fear that you're following, then create some whoppers of stories for yourself. He doesn't love me because I'm fat. He doesn't love me anymore because I'm old and wrinkly and I'm whatever. And you will come up and you will hurt your own feelings. Now, I had a husband that didn't want to help me, so he came up with some whopping stories. He's pretty good at gaslighting, to the point. Now remember, we're two great people that just don't work anymore. I don't have to love him. I just respect him. That's where he wants to be, and this is where I am, and that is that. No sending hate, no none of this shit. He can live his life, I live mine. But I would always get these things that my filters are in the way. My hormones were off. But when somebody is deliberately using their energy on your will to do what they want, you're going to start feeling something called hurt. But what if you aren't energetically put together in a very healthy way? Because your meridians will change and dance. And he basically said some mean things just so he can get out of doing something that he felt like he always had to do. But it wasn't about me. It was about the story of always having to do something for his family. And you just could easily say no to me. But how he said it and what he said could hurt my feelings because I knew he didn't want to be a part of my life anymore. But yet I'm just a piece of hoarding material. Just, you're mine. I own you, whatever. Where am I going with this? It can hurt. What do you do? Part of my meridians, because I was hurt. And one of the things about this diamond, we have diamonds all in our spaces, and Spirit has helped me start to build mine, activate mine, and then attune other people to do this. And I'm standing on the shoulders of giants that have known this, shared this, and it had to be secret. And now it's all coming out, and all this old information is starting to make sense. And all the things that we forgot or didn't even know we knew is starting to come to light. So I'm just one that volunteered, that said, I'm going to start learning this, bringing this into my space, and going to help others. And it's like, once you start to build them and use them and embrace them and heal them, each of the points need to be healed. You start developing what's called a spiritual immune system. And I didn't understand what this meant. I mean, I've studied this, and I kept asking the question, you need to teach me more. You need to teach me more. What does all this mean? And now I'm getting it. So I have all these energies that are communicating, working together. You have the radiant circuits that are the strange flows, which are joys. Okay, so you're hardwired for joy. And those are getting to flow again. And so these are like protective shields that are naturally ours, but we have something that stopped them. So when you have life that you have not been able to resolve out. So what happened was that, yes, the survival mindset was, yes, oh God, go, get, save yourself. And then when you're done, you're supposed to shake it off. You're supposed to let it go. Can you let things go? Or did you look at it so that it's so personal that it's a shock, not a trauma as much as a shock? And one of the things that removes, changes out your diamonds so the energy doesn't flow, and the same for strange flows of those joys, is shock, because it's literally an, oh my God. It's a shock to your system that you, now part of you believes it's so real that you can't shake it off. And so we've kind of stopped an evolutionary process. So I easily could sit there and go, oh my God, I tried kissing him and he's pulled away. It's because I'm ugly. And it sounds like a good drama story for TV, but what if you're in your mind and you're caught up because your hormones are off and you don't know how to balance them when you could? Oh God, yes. All he sees now is this old person instead of this young chick. What if he's doing a picture moment? That he sees me as when I was 18 instead of what I'm 54. What if he's stuck in that time? There's a lot of people that live in the past. You think that's good, but what if he wakes up one day and the veil lifts up and he's like, oh God, who in the hell is this? I mean, I know I walk in the mirror and go, Jesus, who's that looking back in the mirror? Do we have to do that? Do we have to believe our own stories? Do we have to go there? I walk out the kitchen and I'm like, oh my God, you did it again, stupid. Oh, I'm so angry at myself. First of all, look at the language. You just put a spell on yourself. You just energetically, emotionally invested and put your life force into thinking and feeling that way that your brain doesn't know any difference. Okay. So now you're hardwiring yourself to feel ugly and believe you're stupid. But you can tap into your body. The messenger, the heart, everything can tell you. So I'll be like, oh my God, I'm angry. And I test it. Am I angry? No. What do you mean I'm not angry? Hold on. My brain was like my daughter It was so funny because she'd be like running around and all of a sudden she'd fall. And she could easily cry. I'm like, holy cow, did you see that elephant trip you with its tiny little toe? Her mind's like, I distracted her to the point where she didn't have to go there. And she just like, when she was little, she's like, where'd the elephant go? And then she got older. Now she don't even know there's an elephant, but she could run into the wall and whatever. Her first response ain't to scream. It is, all right, I better pay attention, and then go on. How do you program yourself? When these energies are off, you can make them go even more off by going into a false meaning, creating false reality. So you can get false self-assuredness. Why do we do it? We just need life to make sense again. That is part of what a human does. But the more you start to find your nature of your authenticity, and you really can see the difference, you don't even have to believe your own bullshit. I know my husband loves me. And I have to believe in myself, or else I'm going to sit there and drive a wedge between us. I'm going to put an intolerance to, and I'm going to build up hate against him, and he didn't do anything. But I'm going to do this one thing, like we don't realize we do. We have what's called a quantum field of potential. It's always there. Good, bad, indifferent. What am I going to choose today? Instead of being this mindful creator, or you got to understand how you use your convincer. So if I sit there and I'm like, oh, what if it's, and you run with your imagination and you're doing it in a very unhealthy fashion, and you'll get into this flow stream that exists. You got business flow, you've got all kinds of flows. Now I need to be reassured. And I can't talk to my dependent buddy because he's the enemy now. Oh, God, look. And then all of a sudden you're praying while you're in fear and while you're in that, oh, God, help me. Is it true? And you've already convinced yourself. But if you can start finding, when you start to go there and use tools, oh, I believe this is 1,000%. I got to stop it. You can have a turnaround time instead of having to go there and build hell. You can heal hell out. It's that awakening from hell that, why am I repeating this shit? You can stop your own conspiracy theory. You will call in proof whether you are right or wrong. You are always going to be right with your opinion. But what state of mind are you in? So I've watched people go, I've got proof. Yeah. And I can also equally find proof that it's not true. Now, there's some things you're hard evident on. But what's the end goal here? That you stay in pain? That you sabotage yourself? That you let me tell you what's really going on is you're starting to wake up and you're starting to see where you're investing your life force into stories that no longer serve. But if you're unable to see this, did I turn it on? If you're unable to see this, I'm sorry, I'm cold. And you don't see how your mind is imprisoned by this fear flow and this false meaning. I mean, because you're just looking for, I have to find assured. I got to be assured that everything's going to be okay. I have to find certainty. But if you're going to use your mind, only left brain only, and it's disconnected from your spirit, and you are just going into that, you're going to have false self-assuredness. And you will collect proof. But you can easily and equally have the other option. But we have not been able to let go of those emotions, those things that make the story so freaking real. You do have the power within you to balance your energies. Because people come to me and they're like, this is what's happening. And I'll say, okay, rub this, rub that. What are they rubbing? Energy points. So it zing, zang, zoo, zoo, and balances and starts to balance. And they can measure it. It was a 10. Oh, where's it go? It was, I don't have to really feel that way. Which state do you like more? And then, wow, when you start communicating with spirit in a way that helps you grow. When people say, well, you can't heal yourself when you just get, I know these ways you can. I know all these little things that you don't. And if you can start to just do one little thing at a time, we're always like, oh, it doesn't work. We don't have proof. Oh, I can't find the value. And, like, and then you go back into hell. I'm handing you keys to unlock and to get out of hell. This is hell, people. You have heaven and hell right here. The more you disconnect from that energy to the authentic self of love, the more you get to play in hell. And the more you entertain yourself by going there and feeding hell, the more you'll think you're cursed. But it's not really true. And when you start to wake up and you start taking your energy off that investment, you lift that veil and you want to save your brother and sister, your loved ones, your family, your friends. And the best way to do it is heal your shit so that you can carry that higher frequency so that you can help set the tone for others to get out of hell too. It's all about levels of consciousness. When you have a bunch of sugar cubes that are stacked like a pyramid and government's here and government governs you, but what if you're supposed to learn how to govern yourself and stop being dependent? What if you are supposed to, that you work together instead of separate and division? What if you look towards working with? Well, no, they're always enemy. They're always out to get you. Well, why should I support them? They're just always on that. How about if we heal that story? How about if we take and stop investing in it? Because enough of the sugar cubes, and you pour, let's say, blue ice or water in it, what happens is it melts the bottom. And then the pyramid of how we were living, that structure begins to change. And enough of us at the bottom are starting to wake up to see just slightly different. You're going to start holding a different level of consciousness. You're going to start maturing the soul. And how you mature the soul is all of a sudden you mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually don't have to live in that lower vibration below 500 hertz. HERTZ. So then you can stop being HURT. So, very important. Do you need to create your own conspiracy theories? Do you even know that you do them? You just assume they're out there. When you wake up in the morning, okay, let me tell you how I wake up. I'll be like, oh yeah. And this is you tapping into that level. Some people do drugs to get themselves there. But when you wake up in the morning and all of a sudden you're on this plane of great wisdom and it makes perfect sense in your mind. And you get me, you're like, what the hell is that? I can't remember. No, you start to get better at it because you're training. Everybody in this old paradigm is, well, you should already know it first. And because you failed, I'm going to point out every freaking flaw. And I'm going to sit there and go, ha, 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 you failed me. You failed. It's called skill building. We have to get back to understanding we've never been here before. But if we really looked, we've always been here. We already knew it. We already know. We know how to get out of it. That's how we're going to get this information. But we have to learn to understand nobody's going to get it all correct. And then you're going to fine tune. We need to forgive people and ourselves because we're never going to fine tune if we're going to sit there and have to be afraid of criticism or have to give criticism or just, I'm bad. We have to stop the division. Especially with ourselves, the conspiracy with ourselves, the conspiracy with our loved ones. You need to put the and in instead of the but. That belief under transition you think is good. But that belief under transition is constantly hooked into the ego mindset. It's hooked into fear. And holy mothers of God, we're always in a transitional state because you're making choices. You always have this point of creation and a point of destruction. But we have to stop looking at it, the point of destruction as death. I'm sorry. As simple as changing your underwear. You know, maybe death to the germs, but that's change. You combed your hair different. That's change. It didn't die. When you don't have to be afraid of change, you go higher. You get in the right alignment. You start getting information and you stop going to people. Hey, what do you think? The definitions you need to go for yourself. And when you're gone to the highest you possibly can and you still feel like you don't get it because you're not going within and you're not going and rising with your own spirit. Once you start to do this, you've rised higher. You raise that level of consciousness past man, female, whatever, person, the human, and you start tapping into the true knowing instead of the conspiracies. And all of these tough times, you can take your energy off and stop investing. Yes, this bullshit's happening. Yes. Oh, but look, there's a good thing. So I asked Spirit, okay, how do I not lose myself with all of this sea of energy? And I says, well, you have to start building the energies within yourself so that you can have healthy boundaries. Live within your bubble. So when you're doing this, you will start to notice that the quantum field is everything is there. You can stop reaching in and grabbing the bullshit. This is how I know it, because it's comfortable. Because if we take what's comfortable, but yet we're completely uncomfortable, and yet when we start to do something that we don't know, we've already labeled it bad to some degree because it's uncomfortable, because it reminds you of that. But then you're like, hell no, I'm going to go back to the demon I know. No, stop that. That's the recycling. You can rise higher. And it all has to do with balancing the physical, which balances the brain. And when you start to really work on listening to the body, it's the messenger. You are intuition as form. That's what you really are. And when you begin to notice the different levels of consciousness, you will stop going into those different levels of old data and just, you're trying to figure out how to connect. But if you learn and you listen to your spirit, you can come into balance. And when you start to lift the veil, you're like, oh my God, I don't really want to create this way anymore. Oh my God. And this whole time around, when we had a lockdown, Spirit says, how you doing? I said, good. I mean, without realizing it, I've lived this way all the time, but I didn't have to feel like it was in lack. What's funny is I buy groceries once a week. I try to buy it for a week or 2 weeks. I don't really want to go out there. I'd rather be playing and having all these other things I can do. And I can't remember. I think it's been almost 2 weeks now since there was a lockdown, and it didn't affect me at all. Somehow my toilet paper is magically lasting. My food supply seems to be magically lasting. And because I wasn't focused on lack, I didn't even know there was a crunch. I can't even see this. Hold on here. Okay. Healthy boundaries. And what's interesting is that when you set your goals, small ones too, but you're setting them as a GPS. When your friend comes up to you and says, oh my God, I so love to manipulate assholes. Chances are they're probably going to manipulating you too. They just told you when they go, I mean, I had somebody that I really cared about, and they thought it was okay to be mean to me, that it was okay. Why am I allowing this? And then several times in my face, they would tell me, oh God, that's my biggest attribute is I can manipulate people. I'm good at it. I'm like, ding, 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 ding. I really don't know if I'm going to play that. And I respect that that's how you want to live. And I'm going to have to bow out. Oh boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, did I have to pay for that. But that's okay. You know why? Because I'm worth it. I can love you from a distance. And you don't have to set your GPS to that. I set my GPS to love and joy. When I don't understand, I say, thank you, Spirit, for showing me. I learned how to communicate with these energies in a whole different way. I don't know why I'm having such trouble seeing today. But it's up to you. So, I mean, like, I got out of the shower, and the first thing my mind, my sensory system, my eyes said was, boy, look at that fat on your body. I'm like, my ego was like, I could tell I dropped into ego, but yet I was forgetting. And I'm like, oh my God. And I stopped and I'm, wait a minute, why am I going there? So what's, hey, body. Why do you want that Dunlop there? Is it because you had a couple kids? Is it because you're lazy? What's it? No, that's ego. Shut up. There's a story here. I remember as I start to line myself up, I loved being in my grandma's arms. Oh my God, she was soft and squishy. I just loved my grandma. And it's not that I'm a grandma, I'm not. Hey kids, am I? No, I'm not. But what was the memory? What was the picture? What was the GPS? It was love and comfort. What do I want to make sure I have every day for myself? Can you see the picture so far? I have a memory of love and comfort, and that means that I'm going to be soft and squishy. Do I really want that? It's in conflict with my other one. Oh, now that I'm 54, I can still be soft. I just don't need to be so squishy. And can I take that 1 to 10, 10 being, oh my God, I love that, off the squishy part of myself? Can I pull that off? Yes, you can, because you can still have that love and joy. What does love? You have redefining it in a certain way. So you are an incredible being. Okay. Thank you. Spirit just wanted to make sure you understand you don't even have to believe your own stories. If you're doing it to find, oh my God, I got to make life make sense, and I've got to go there and feel that smallest violin. Do I have to go there? Do I have, what are you trying to tell yourself? Your soul is saying, oh, you gave your life force into this feeling of sadness. Would you like to heal it now? And your ego's going, hey, I got some proof. If you learn how we all work together with these different parts of ourselves, we can stop separating and stop seeing the enemy and stop filters and stop. You heal those, you close those down. You don't need those. And you can save yourself a lot of hell. Me and my husband, we don't believe in intolerance tubes. That means we don't have to go there and think about, oh my God, you can't even pick up your underwear. What's wrong with you? No. You learn to respect and understand we're working as a team. And you don't have to sit there and judge and go, oh, you didn't do it that way? Well, I was done the back. Do you need to do that? You've got to start being more responsible for our flippant speaking. Okay. Anybody in the room that's new that, oh, I see. Well, that might have been a while ago. Anybody in the room? Yeah, stop hurting your own feelings. We run with these stories. We need to upgrade the RTJP. We need to upgrade the stress mode. You have to clean out those fights. Stop hoarding. It's time to clean those out. I can really bitch myself and catch it. Catch it. Yes. Yes. We can admit we do those, but if we catch it, the turnaround time, can we stop ourselves? Do we really need to go there? No. You let shit out, but it was emotions. I'm like, oh, hold on, just a moment. Tap, all these points. Work with the magnetic blood. Work with your electrical self. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed. Stop the judging of someone else. I've got great friends that haven't had the vaccine. I have had great friends that had the vaccine. They're both on different sides. But you know what? You don't have to bring it to the table. I'm going to destroy you if you don't do it the way I live. I don't know. You don't need that. Well, what's the right way? No, that is not it. You're in your timeline. I'm in mine. And I respect that you're creating that over there in your world. Let me look. Yeah, that's not going to be in my manual of living. But that is. I never thought of that. You're incredible. Oh, wow. You invested in that? Oh, wow. God. You've gone through this. Well, you're going to be carrying the codes. Maybe I won't have to really go through this. Let me talk to you. Now, I don't have to fall for their whole story so that I become and lose myself. You don't have to lose your identity to take on that. How many people have walked around with the identity that they hate themselves because that's the latest fad? What do you mean fad? Energy wave, baby. If you're not mindful that you are not in your spiritual mindset or your authentic self, you're going to get caught up in waves. And when those waves, and what are they? They're waves of potential until you turn them into a particle. And when you turn them into a particle, you define them in such a depth of, depends. Some people are like minor surface to all the way down to the iceberg tip that's you can't see. Yeah, she says, here I'm judging women who are judgy. Yeah, but this is one of the things. When you start to dive into discernment, and these diamonds are amazing, but when you start to diving into discernment, you begin to understand, I don't want to act that way. I don't need to jump on and be like that either. I can feel that it's not a healthy alignment and it is actually hurting others. And if you start to see them with, like, I was telling my one friend, can you tell when something pokes you? Oh, that was a fingernail. Instead of a taw, okay. Or when you've cut yourself, or your imagination. Oh my God, what would it be like to be hit with a butcher knife? No. Okay, pain. Okay, I fall and broke my fingers. Holy shit, nerve pain. I created a pincer. Holy shit, the nerve pain. But I totally respect those that are in constant nerve pain. And the only pain I knew at that point was birthing pain. But I'm like, some people run around going, oh, you're just crying because you're just a wimp. Or, oh God, stop faking that. You just want to do it for attention. Yes, there may be some of those people that do that. But there's a lot of people that don't. And when you start to feel people, when they don't know how to be responsible for the energy to what they say or how they bring it into the room or how, because they got a hidden agenda, those words can come out to either love you or which one? And you can feel it. But if you have a filter that stops you from receiving love and all you're going to do is see hate, then when people come to you with hate, you're going to misunderstand it. Because it's a definition. I have this one beautiful friend, and we talk about Christmas, okay? Completely different worlds. And I said, here, have a tree, decorate it. And how the traditions, and for me, it was like, oh, fascinating, how interesting. Now, that can be a loaded word for people, interesting. I learned it from Little Bear. Oh, interesting. He helped me see a different way to love people. And then when you get attacked because you say, oh, interesting, to them, it's like, how dare you insult? And then there's other people like, what? Your way's better? And it's like, whoa. Have you forgotten who I am? When I say it's interesting, it's because I've never seen it before and I want to learn this. Okay, when I moved to Australia, it was simply this. They go, some of the words, like I had to stop for a second. Schedule. What's a schedule? What is this schedule? What's a shids? Are they saying shitting? What do they say? Because it's all about pronunciation. And some people I will catch. Oh, they said that. Well, they're stupid. They did. Because I've learned it from somebody that I had been married to for a long time. They sat there and they'd go, you're saying orange? Well, I'd say orange. And I wouldn't get the R. Oh my God, the ridicule. And then other words. ridicule. Apricot, apricot, apricot. Which way do you say it? Which way is correct? I would get ridiculed. And then I come to a land where I'm already talking Australian to some degree because of the way I put the different slangs on different letters. I'm like, you, in my mind and my ego, you son of a bitch. There's more than one way to say something because I traveled and I learned. And so now I got a catalog of life that's, ooh, and there are a lot of ands and a lot of respect. Miranda says, yes, I learned last night that I was off my axis and ungrounded. And with the tools Brenda had taught me, I was able to ground myself again. Yes, you can get back on it and get back onto joy. All right. This is not hard. You don't have to be afraid of what it looks like. Okay, there's a lot of good things here to do. When I'm talking, it's called, it's a spiritual investigation, and I'm going to be teaching this to the students that want to become healers for themselves, and I'll teach you how to become healers for yourself, even while you're in your ego. I can do all that. Why? Because that's what I've been taught this. We can do this. It can be done. It's moving past the limitations. It's moving past fears. Did you get anything out of what I talked about today? Do you understand the difference between when the energies are off, you can create yourself a world of hell. You can be in a conspiracy. You can create false timelines. I hope that explained it a little bit more, because when you could sabotage and hurt relationships so badly if your energies are just off. When people come to me and their energies are off in their mind and they're like half cocked, but they're sound so seriously and they need help and they're upset. And then they're sitting there shooting you and you're like, is this relationship worth it? Most of the time it is. But when they deliberately are using tools to F you over because they're good at it, think twice about wanting to invest in that relationship. Is there someone there with you? You're playing with your hair a lot. Oh, chances are, yes. If you know something, like, I think your mom's here, but yes, there's a tendency that when I start doing little particular things, then chances are it's for you. Touching my lips, playing with my hair. It's not something I normally do, but okay, stop. You got the point across. So yes, you recognize your mom's here.